Hi guys, welcome to Divine Time with Nikki Taylor. I'm really excited to be here tonight. There has been so much energy with the new moon in Virgo. So I'm hoping we can unpack some of that information for some of you Virgos, Virgo risings, Virgo moon signs, or anyone who has Virgo in their chart in a significant place. So for those of you who are new tonight, I'll let you know the rundown. So for the free option is a 1-card oracle pull, and it's not question based. I'll just pull that for you and give you a little bit of information on it. If you choose to use the jump button and donate, then you'll get the full mini reading, which is really lovely. It's also important to know that $1 of that donation that you guys give will go to the St. Jude's Children's Hospital, which I think is so fantastic. So I'm excited to read for you guys. So I'm going to go ahead and start checking the list and see who I'm unpacking information for tonight. And then if you guys are watching too, it's important to know, I really like to interact with you guys. So when I call your name, whether it's for a donation-based reading or for a free oracle pull, let me know that you're here, that you're watching. Give me feedback. Let me know what you're feeling, what you're thinking. I really want to engage with you guys. And then it's also nice to have like a glass of water and take just a nice big breath in through your nose and out through your mouth and clear out some of that energy because it's been intense for the last couple of days, guys. Okay, so I'm just going to take a little gander here at my list and see what I've got going on. Okay, so let's see. So it looks like to start, we've got Marie Taylor. So Marie, if you're here watching and ready, let me know, put a comment up and let me know you're here and I'll pull an oracle card for you. And Marie Taylor says, may I have a card, please? Yes, of course, sweetheart. Okay, so I'm going to shuffle and pull an oracle card for you. And she says, shared. Thank you for sharing. I think it's nice to share what's available in the way of healing, right? You never know what friend or family member or even complete stranger can use a reading as a really intense healing modality. So that's good, sweetheart. Let's see. I'm kind of feeling into what oracle card I want to pull for you. You know, I think I'm going to do... It's interesting. I'm not going to pull an oracle card. I'm going to pull a tarot card for you. So it's still going to be the 1 card and just a little bit of information, but I'm going to pull from this other tarot deck I have called the Good Tarot. And I'm just feeling really like, I never read from this deck, but it's calling to you, sister. So let's see what it is. Whew. This card's a little harder to shuffle because I don't work with them. They're really stiff. Let's see. I'm so excited to see why these cards wanted you, Marie. I'm interested in what the message is. Okay. There we go, sister. So it is a major arcana card, which is the moon card. Okay, and you can see the number is 18. So in numerology, 8 plus 1 is 9. So there's multiple things that are important to you. I'm just going to give you a little bit of the information. Okay, if you want to jump, we can explore a little bit more. But here, the moon card, first of all, you definitely have Virgo in your chart, and you have other Virgos in your life, which are important. Your mother in particular may have Virgo in her chart because there's a connection there with this card. It's really important for you to be very tender with yourself, like the way you would be with a child. You know how cautious and careful we are with children. We watch what we say and we're very gentle. And it's really important for you to treat yourself that way right now, right? And just to be really tender and easy with yourself. To know that the emotional, I guess, upheavals are the best words. These big emotions that you're feeling right now, especially in the last 2 days. Yesterday and Sunday were probably just like big for you. Know that is all really valuable. It all serves a purpose. You're not crazy. You're not, you're not like being too emotional or over emotional. You're just processing a lot of change. Like you're moving really big emotions and you're moving energy, and you're going to feel that, right? Whenever we do big, heavy work, even in the material world, if we were to, change our whole house around and stuff, right? That would be hard work. We would sweat and we might be tired afterwards. It doesn't mean it's bad or that we shouldn't be doing that. It just means we're extending a lot of energy and a lot of effort. And that's what you're doing right now on a real psychic, spiritual, and emotional level. So be easy on yourself and know that everything you're feeling right now is really valid. Be mindful of relationship with mom right now too. I'm not sure where the disconnect is there. There's like some kind of criticism. I'm not sure she's critical towards you. You're critical towards her, whether it's out loud or just in your thinking, the way you view each other, if it goes one way or both ways. But that needs to be addressed a little bit and needs to bring some more ease and tenderness to that as well. Try to lighten up a little bit with when it comes to the criticism. So I hope that serves you well, sweetheart. Okay, so next on the list is going to be Cassie Lake. So Cassie, if you're here, honey, leave a comment. Let me know you're here and I'll pull an oracle card for you. And then Marie, I hope that resonated for you, sweetheart. Let me know what you're feeling, what you're thinking. Always got a big glass of water with me when I read. I've got lemon water tonight. So good. All right. Okay. Cassie says, I'm here and I donated. Oh, lovely. Thank you, sweetheart. Okay. So I'm pulling, I'm going to pull the full mini reading for you then, Cassie. Lovely. Thank you. I'm really grateful. Let's see. Oh, I'm getting some feedback that your donation didn't go through, Cassie. So we'll talk about that in a second. Marie Taylor says, thank you. Yes. And that all resonates. Lovely, sweetheart. I'm glad you got what you needed tonight. And thank you for sharing again. So Cassie, I'm not sure if there was a disconnect there. I can do the oracle pull for you, but your donation didn't go through. I'm not sure what the confusion is there. Let me know though. I can definitely do an oracle card for you. I'm going to move on to a person ahead of you though, while we kind of figure that out, take a minute to process that, which is going to be Natalie Calais. I've read for you before. I recognize the name and I might be saying it wrong. So sorry, sweetheart. If you're here, let me know. I'm going to pull an oracle card for you, Natalie. And Cassie, I'll come right back to you, honey. I want you to, let's see. Cassie says, oh no, it gave me a receipt. Okay. So I'm going to have you maybe, I'm not sure. I think Journey can help you navigate that behind the scenes. I'm not sure. There's not really anything I can do about that on my end on the surface, but I know that's something we can take care of. Journey is a whiz. He's got Aquarius in his chart. So he's like smart as a whip when it comes to technology. So he'll get you squared away, sweetheart. But while we figure that out, I'm waiting for Natalie. Natalie, if you're here, let me know. If not, I'm going to move on to Hannah Thomas. And I can come back around to people, so don't panic if I skip your name. Hannah Thomas or Natalie, somebody, leave a comment. Okay. Lisa Simpson? Lisa, are you here, honey? Oh, okay, Cassie, it looks like that went through and we're good. I just wanted to make sure that we were going to be able to get. Oh, Cassie says, okay, sorry, I didn't hit the button. Laughing emojis, it's done now. Honey, you are a girl after my own heart because that's something Nikki would do. Okay, lovely, perfect. Let's get you shuffled up and pulled for it. And Hannah Thomas says here, okay, sweetheart. So Hannah, I'll read for you after Cassie. Thanks for letting me know you're here, babe. Okay. Oh, and Natalie's here too. Okay. Okay, hey Cassie, sweetheart. let's set an intention for this. What are we unpacking information about? What is your heart's desire to be illuminated on? Let's set that intention. It's really powerful. Let me know. And then let's pull cards on that. And I'll give you a minute to think about that, feel into it, and then get a comment up on the screen, sweetheart. I've already got your tarot cards pulled because I could already feel your energy. But she says, Cassie says, I feel like I am losing my way after a bit of trauma. How do I heal? Can I come back from it? Okay. All right. Lovely question. Vulnerable question. So know that I'm holding a lot of safe space for you. While you're here being vulnerable, honey, you're safe doing this work right now. Got your cards pulled. Let me pull a couple oracle cards for you to help ground the information. Your cards are shuffling really well, sweetheart, so it's loud and clear. You've got some strong cards too. Okay. I love that. I'm going to pull an extra card for you too because it wants to come out and I'm not going to deny it. So I've got, let's see, 1, 2, 3, I've got 5 decks here. So I've got 2 oracle decks and I've actually got 3 tarot decks here, just so there's a lot of language. Oof, okay, there we go. That's why it wanted to be pulled. So it's so funny. So I'm not sure if you were watching, Cassie, but the first gal that I read for, I got out one of my tarot decks that I never use. The cards are so stiff. So my cards that I normally use are bent in the middle. They're bowed pretty deeply because of the way I shuffle. All of them are like that. You can see they're all pretty heavily like bowed in the center. And so you can see how much I use these. They're perfectly flat. I don't ever touch them. They sit in the original box on my desk. Anyways, they wanted to come out. I just was like, instead of pulling an oracle card for the last gal, I pulled from this deck, which is the Good Tarot deck. It's the deck that I felt called to pull that extra card for you, and it's the same card that I pulled for her. So it's kind of the theme of the night for the collective, right? Everyone here tonight getting readings, you guys are all here together for a reason. Even though you're getting individual messages, we have a collective consciousness as well. So I find that really fascinating. Okay, so let's start with your tarot cards, sweetheart. So you've got a king, a page, and a queen, right? So you've got cards all in that royal suit, right? So the symbolism there is pretty profound in its power, right? Because when we think of royalty, the king, the queen, the page, the knight, all of these royal archetypes, there's an elevation to their status and to what is available to them, right? And, you know, lots of other meaning that you can kind of digest yourself. So starting in your recent past, though, or what your historical patterns have been when it comes to trauma and how you process trauma, you've got the King of Pentacles here. Okay, now Pentacles represents the element of Earth, which represents our 3D experience. It's all the stuff we experience while we're on Earth. So it's the stuff we only experience while we're on Earth too. Like once we zoom out of our body and out of this plane, there's things here that we don't experience anywhere else, like time and density and lots of stuff, a body, right? And so this is all the experiences we have while we're here on Earth. When we pair that with the king here, we've got a couple things going on. We've got, historically, males in your life. It's interesting because they have been really foundational, but they've also been really a part of the breakdown of your foundation, right? So having male archetypes in your life not be as dependable as they were supposed to be. And yet on the other hand of that, you may look back and remember it differently. Like you may think of your father or other important males in your life as being really profound and strong, and yet it's not that I want to take that away from you. I want to offer it because it's actually really healing for you to understand that they weren't perfect, right? They actually you actually maybe learned some poor response patterns or poor ways of integrating information based on their behavior, right? And this isn't to diminish them or your love or your relationship with them. It's to validate you, to say, hey, some of these like male figures that you've looked up to or held in high regard did you a disservice in some way. And it's not because they're bad, it's because that's part of the role that they were meant to play in your life. That was your kind of destined interaction with them. So know that while you can love and hold them in high esteem, or that you also need to consider that maybe they didn't always give you the best advice. Maybe they didn't always set the best example. Maybe some of your learned responses and behaviors are not even your own, and to give yourself a little reprieve from that, right? Okay. I can see now that you have one particular male in your life who is like an advisor of sorts to you. So you have one male and it might literally be an advisor, who really gives you a lot of advice, a lot of direction. You get it. You trust this person's advice. It's important for you to not allow that advice to steer you from your own compass. Kind of like, if you take melatonin too much to sleep, at some point your body's not going to produce it effectively, right? Because you're giving it artificial melatonin and your body goes, well, I don't need to make it anymore, right? It's kind of like that. You don't want to there's almost like lazy, right? You don't want to forget how to use your own compass because your own compass is so powerful. So I want you to be mindful of that, right? And it's not that their advice is bad. It's that it could create a situation where you stop relying on your own, forget how to use it. It starts to weaken. Like if you don't use it, you lose it. As you move into the present, you've got the Page of Swords here. This is really talking about you needing to be vigilant when it comes to grief. So you talked about trauma, but I think a majority of your trauma revolves around loss. Definitely losing at least one person close to you. I'm not sure if this happened actually when you were a child, because this is really related to your inner child. And the swords element is metal. And in Chinese medicine, metal is our lungs. And then on a metaphysical level, our lungs is where we process grief, right? So this is how I know it's really about grief, and grief that either happened when you were a child or younger. Younger than when you felt fully formed, fully independent, right? So you may not have been a little kid, but definitely before you reached a stage where you felt fully independent and safe on your own. There's a lot of grief that needs to be processed there. And so I want you to think about, when you're asking, how can I basically help myself heal? A body work is going to be really important for you. So I want to see you stretching out your chest, right? I want to see you opening your chest up. There's a lot of yoga practices that you can do, or you can literally just do this, pull your shoulder blades back and open it up. I want to make sure you're not taking anything in through your lungs, that you're not smoking or vaping or doing anything through your lungs. I'd like to see you using eucalyptus and peppermint oils in your diffuser. And then breath work, which is, I want to see you many times a day stopping to mindfully breathe in through your nose and out through your mouth, really filling your belly with air as you breathe in. This is really powerful. Our physical body transmutes energy, and we can change how we feel just by changing our physical body. We know this through science as well, right? And psychology. It's called power posture. And this is, psychologically proven now that if you change your posture and you stand, you put your hands on your hips, I think it's after 2 minutes of standing in this power pose, your testosterone levels actually go up by a certain percentage, and that's measurable. So if just standing and changing your posture can change your hormones, imagine what it can do for trauma and grief, right? Because when we're in grief and we're sad and we're tense, we bring our shoulders in because we want to protect the trauma. We want to hold it in our body, but you don't need to hold it in anymore. As you move into the near future, you've got the Queen of Cups. Cups is the emotional element. This is you coming into a place where you really get to fully step into your unconditional love, right? So the way that your trauma has affected you primarily is preventing you from unconditionally loving yourself and unconditionally loving others, right? So you definitely withhold because you don't feel safe. You might have a little bit of trouble being generous as well. Now, it doesn't mean that you're an unkind person or you don't give $1 to somebody who needs it from time to time, but you definitely feel protective over your resources. And you worry about your resources being drawn on, you're going to move into a space where you're able to really just share yourself, share your heart, share your resources in a really free, uninhibited way. That body work is really important. The other thing that's going to be really valuable for your healing is in your oracle cards, it's soul writing. Okay, I want to see you journaling. Go get yourself a journal, put some stickers on it, get yourself some gel pens or something you really love. And I want to see you carving out time. It doesn't have to be every day, but even if you can say 1 day a week, I'm going to journal. I want to see you doing it like a ritual. That's going to be really important for you. The other oracle card that I'm going to touch on, I pulled a couple, but the one that I really want to touch on for you is healthcare change. Okay, so we talked about, your body transmuting energy. So your body likes to store trauma, right? And there's a book, I like to bring it back to psychology. We're talking spirit here, but science and spiritual stuff is one and the same. So let's ground it a little bit in reality for you. There's a book called The Body Keeps Score, right? And so this talks about how our body stores trauma, and there's certain areas that really likes to hold trauma. And for you, one place is definitely in your hips, your knee. Like, what knee's hurting, sweetheart? Is your right knee that's hurting, causing you a little bit of trouble, feeling a little wonky every once in a while? You stand up and it feels not good. So I want to see you doing hip stuff. You look up yoga stretches and stuff like that when it comes to your hips. Possibly chiropractic care. Check with your doctor. Make sure you're safe and find a legitimate chiropractor to work with, and see if you can do some work for your pelvic bowl and your hips. Other than that, the other card that came up for you is the moon. Cassie says, yes, makes perfect sense. The other card that came up for you is the moon. And here this is relationship with mom again. Cassie says, it's my right knee. Yeah. And so your knee, it's not your knee that's hurt though. So your knee is the alarm system. Your knee is taking the brunt of your hip being off. Your gait is off is what's happening. And so your hips or your knee is bearing the brunt of that, and it's screaming, something's off with your body. So you want to address it in your hips and probably your lower spine too. You probably don't have as much movement in your lower spine. So you'll want to talk to a healthcare professional about that though, before you put anything into practice. And then the moon card is definitely talking about relationship with mom, and then validating your emotions again, just like the last gal. So everything that you feel, every experience you have, no matter who has invalidated it for you and tried to tell you, well, but you did this, or it's not that bad, or other people deal with it this way. It doesn't, just throw it all out the window. Your experiences are totally valid. The way that you've met your trauma is valid. No matter how messy and ugly it was, no matter what you've done, it's fine. Let it go. Forgive yourself, honey. It doesn't matter. It doesn't matter what you've done. Okay? Just forgive yourself, because there's nobody else holding it against you but you. Okay? You're free, sweetheart. So go get that journal. Cassie Lake says, good to know. Thank you. You're welcome, honey. Okay. Who is next? I think we got another jump, and I think, let's see. Cassie says, thank you. You're welcome. What? You put kind of a sad emoji up there, though. Why is the sad emoji there? It's like, with like crying eyes. Okay, so we've got Sierra L. So Sierra, let me know you're here, sweetheart, and I'm going to pull cards for you. Thank you for donating. I'm really grateful, guys. It lets me be here, like actually like come and be here when you guys donate. So it's cool. And Cassie Lake says, I'll get that journal right now. Yeah, any excuse to get yourself like a journal and some cute gel pens and stuff. Like do it. You deserve it. Okay, Sierra, let me know you're here, baby doll, and I'll pull cards for you. Okay, Sierra says, hi, beautiful. Takes one to know one. I was wondering if you can do a general. I can't focus on a question. I'm kind of overwhelmed with a lot of things. Just need some guidance. Yeah, you got it, sweetheart. Let's do that. Okay, Sierra, big breath in through your nose, honey. Let's do it together. Big breath in through your nose like you're trying to suck the air out of the room and you're filling your belly with air. And out. That's good. All right, do that again if you need to, Sierra. Okay. Okay, I got your tarot cards pulled. Let me shuffle up and get some oracle cards pulled, honey. Wow. Okay, so Sierra, honey, you've got some 7. I know I don't expect you guys to understand everything I'm talking about. I work a lot in numerology, but you've got some 7 energy in your personal numerology. So I'm curious if your age adds up to 7 right now. It may not, but it doesn't matter because there's so much. It's kind of like astrology. It doesn't have to be your sun sign. So how old are you, if you don't mind saying it? Can you tell me how old you are, sweetheart? Or I'm curious if your birthday adds up to a number 7 too. You can do that. So your birthday, the month, the day, and the year, you add it all together. It'll be a double digit, and you add that together again until you get a single digit. Because I think it's a 7. You might be a life less than 7. Oh, okay, so you're 24. So is your birthday coming up soon? Eight 297. Okay, so your birthday just passed. So 8, 9, 10, 11. Actually, let me use my calculator. Let's not guess, right? Let's get it right. Let me look really quick. It's interesting because you just turned into a 6, but you've got a lot of 7 energy, honey. Okay, 8 plus 2 plus 1 plus 9 plus 9 plus 7. Oh, interesting, because you're a 9. So you're a 9 life lesson, and you're a 6 right now. So we're looking at when you come fully into your 7 energy. That's interesting. Okay. And then, of course, I literally pulled a 7 card. Okay, there's something I want to read for you. It's really important. Let's see. Do I have it in here? I don't have my book in here. Okay, that's okay. All right. So, wow, okay. So your reading is just all about seeking and finding. It's all about being on a pilgrimage, okay? So imagine like a pilgrimage. It's not a word we use a lot, and I know you probably know what it means, but let's put some context to what it means to be on a pilgrimage, right? A pilgrimage is being on a sacred journey, right? It's arduous usually, and there's a real goal in mind. It's not wandering around, kind of flippantly. It's you are on a path, and you're on a path because you're on a quest. You're looking for something really important, right? And it's the something that you're looking for pertains to the elevation of your spirit. You're on a spiritual pilgrimage, honey. You already are feeling that energy now, but on your next birthday, so next year, is going to be so profound. You're going to come fully into that energy, and because what's happening is emotionally and mentally, you're feeling this really quest, pilgrimage, voyage type energy, but you're not able to follow it physically right now. So it's definitely creating restlessness, right? And a lack of integration. It's like, what am I supposed to be doing? Where am I supposed to be going? You got this kind of itchy feeling, right? Your next birthday, you're going to be able to really act this out. You're going to be able to actually physically go where you need to go and have the experiences that you need to experience. Now, whether it's far away or not, it does not matter. This can be pilgrimage, having a pilgrimage in your own community, but you're going to be accessing new people, new experiences, really serendipitous stuff. It's like, oh my gosh, and then I met that person, and then I overheard this, and I saw this sign, and it's just really going to start lining up for you next year. Right now, though, your spirit, your body, your emotions are all calibrating to that energy, and it feels a little chaotic. It feels like that kind of internal itch that you can't scratch. That's okay. There's a purpose for it. Now you know there's a purpose for it, which will help you tolerate it with a little more grace. Okay, so it's really important right now for you to be focused on resting, because what do you do before a big pilgrimage? I mean, you got to carb up and you got to rest up and you got to pack. There's a lot of preparation that happens, right? So you really want to be taking good care of your body right now. Now is your time to get rest, honey. So your life is not as crazy as it's going to get. Your schedule has blank spots in it for a reason, not to be mindlessly filled or to be felt guilty about. Your schedule has blanks in it in order for you to have time to nourish your nervous system. Excuse me, I'm going to sneeze. Okay. Excuse me. All right. Okay, so this downtime that you have right now, it's really important for you to honor it and take advantage of it, okay? When it comes up, not to feel guilty about it, not to try to fill it with something to do. Oh, I've got a free day. Let me fill it up. Take some time, take some Epsom salt baths, decompress, do whatever feels good for your nervous system, because it's time to nourish yourself for your big voyage coming up, sweetheart. Okay, so faith, right? So faith comes up in the Seven of Pentacles here. There's you've got a couple 7 cards here. Sierra says, absolutely, I'm so tired lately. Feel like some days things have been falling off track. Yeah. And that's part of that chaotic energy I'm talking about. It's like the atoms are just really wobbly right now. And you feel that. You're very empathic. You're very psychic yourself, honey. And so you're tuning into that. So first of all, let me just validate you. You're not wrong. You're not crazy. You're not imagining it. It's really weird right now, honey. It's okay, though. It's not weird bad. Okay. This is really, your faith is being tested in the material world. So finances might be difficult. Your physical body might not be where you want it to be. Like you might have some limitations or things that aren't feeling good in your physical body right now. I mean, what else in your material world? Your house, there might be things in your house, your living situation that you're not liking, right? It's because you're being called to not focus on the external. Number 7 is about going inside and going on this pilgrimage that really has to do with finding our spirit, understanding God and whatever God is to you. And you can use a different word, but it's the big stuff. It's about really unveiling who we are after all the crap that we've been taught, all the crap we've experienced, all the false belief systems, all the bullshit. It's about getting back down to our most instinctive, primal, beautiful, powerful, bright self. And that is not easy work. And so and we have to go inside to do that. And so you're being tested on the outside. And what you're tempted to do, because we're all kind of taught to do, is we want to fix it. We're like, well, my body has some limitations I don't like, or there's things about this vessel that I'm not liking. I need to fix it. I need to focus on it. Or there's things about my living situation or my finance. So we want to hyper focus because we think our focus is what's going to fix it if we focus enough. And yet you're being called to just tolerate the discomfort of those things and go inside and do the work in here, because then it will come out, manifest out, and start those things in the material world will start lining up, right? As you move into the near future, I want you to be super, super mindful of boundaries. You have Sagittarius in your chart. You sometimes bounce yourself off the walls just to know where you are in relation to the room, baby. And that's a metaphor, okay? You either go too hard or not at all, right? You either eat too much or it's been all day and you haven't eaten a thing, okay? It's your schedule's packed to the brim, or you're being irresponsible and not, doing anything that day, even though you have things you've committed to. And I can just keep giving examples of that. It's just all or nothing. And it's because you need to know where the boundaries are, where are the edges at. I got to find the edges so then I know, right? It's important for you to temper yourself a little bit, honey. Moderation is really important for you right now. And moderation and restriction are two different things, baby. So I want you to understand the difference, okay? In your oracle cards, you've got decisions here. I want you to think about the same temperance. I want you to apply temperance. Think about tempering hot glass, right? We've got to sway it and cool it down slowly and expose it to, we don't want to it's not about abrupt conditioning, right? We do it in a timely way. So when it comes to decision makings, I want you to apply that same philosophy where you're giving yourself time to make decisions. It's not beneficial for you to answer questions in the moment. Some people are really good about that and it serves them. But I feel like when somebody says, hey, do you want to go to this concert next week? Your best answer is to say, wow, that sounds really fun. Let me get back to you tomorrow, or let me think about it. Let me text you back about it. Answering right away to almost anything tends to pull on your energy. So I want you to think about taking more time to make decisions. Sierra L says definitely spot on. That's actually in your human design too. If you've ever had a human design reading, I'm not sure what that is. If it's like a generator, manifesting generator, I don't know all the terms, but that's specific to your human design as well. So you may find that if you ever do one of those readings. Lastly, I want to say that I've got another 7, which is a 7 of Swords, which is this feeling of betrayal. Swords is that air element, which is grief in our lungs. It's where our heartache happens, right? And what's a bigger heartache than when we feel betrayed? Ooh, babe. I think that you've experienced some betrayal, but if I'm just to be frank, I feel like you have betrayal coming up. Now, I don't usually like to give future type scenarios like that, because what I find is people get hyper focused on it. They're looking around every corner. Where's the betrayal, right? And they're trying to figure it out, because again, we think if we hyper focus on something, we can fix it, right? But we're focusing on the wrong thing. So I don't want you to be looking out for this betrayal and red flags and worrying about it and thinking about it. I want you to hear it now and let it go. I want you to know that when it comes, though, you'll remember and it serves your highest good. In fact, it may be the prompt that puts you on your pilgrimage, right? So think about someone who's living with their boyfriend and they love him, but it's really not working. And then betrayal happens and they have to break up. So then they have to change their living situation. And then because they move, they meet this person and it puts them on this whole new trajectory of life that is joyful and beautiful. But it wouldn't have happened if that betrayal wouldn't happen, because they would have stayed in the relationship for God knows how long. So that's just an example of how something like that can be hurtful in the moment can really put us on a totally different path that's so beneficial. So remember that, treat it with their grace, and forgive easy. Just forgive. It's not a big deal in the end. So I hope that serves you well, sweetheart. And then you've got loved ones around too. You've got at least one female who's passed, who's near and dear, sweetheart. So know that. Take comfort. All right. I think we've got another jump, guys. Brandy Weber. I'm so grateful for your jumps. All right, Brandy, sweetheart, let me know you're here and I'll pull cards for you. Sierra says, absolutely. Thank you so much, girl. You're welcome, honey. Thank you for coming tonight. Check back in. Make sure you check back in. I want to know how you're doing, honey. Okay, Brandy Weber, sweetheart, let me know you're here. You donated. I'm so grateful. I want to make sure I get cards pulled for you, honey. That's okay. Brandy Weber says, I'm sorry, I didn't catch what you said. Could you repeat? I wanted you to let me know that you were here and watching and ready before I pulled cards for you. And so you really didn't miss much. I'm going to shuffle cards and get them pulled for you, sweetheart. I want you to tell me what it is you want to unpack information about. Your intention is so powerful. And so I want you to feel into that. What are we pulling cards for? Let me know. And while you're doing that, I'll shuffle. And then Sierra says, I sure will. Awesome, sweetheart. I will look forward to it for sure, babe. Sierra, my witchy sister, honey. You got witchy energy. I like it. Okay. So Brandy, I'm just shuffling while you kind of feel into, and then let me know what you're wanting me to pull cards for you. Okay, Brandy says there's several. A future payout from a lawsuit, upcoming babies, my sister's cancer, just a lot of anxiety for me. Gotcha. Those are specific, which I like, and I understand these are specific things. Okay, so future payout from a lawsuit. I'm not going to read on that, only because you're going to find out about it at some point, right? And upcoming babies, that may come up if it's meant to come up. Let's see, sisters. Yeah, let's see. Let's focus in on. So I'm either going to pull a general for you. I know. I'm sorry. I'm like lay it out there, and then I'm like, I'm not reading on any of that. Sisters Cancer. I'm not going to read on Sisters Cancer, and here's why: is that it's just such a sensitive, touchy topic, and I don't feel safe unpacking information around that. I'm also not a medical doctor, and it's just doesn't feel appropriate to me. To other readers it may, and that's totally fine. I will definitely say a prayer for your sister and send her lots of loving, healing light. I'd like to focus more on like how you can get to your highest path. And I don't know what that is exactly. You might have some language around that. But I'm going to pull cards for you. Now, if there's something else specific, or you can say my love life or healing or past or something else. But those specific things, I think I'm just not going to pull for. Sorry. It says, okay, generals. I'm like over-explaining myself. I've got a Chiron in Gemini, which means I tend to over-explain myself for fear that I'm not being heard. So that's something that I'm working on. Okay. 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 And then I will pull a card for sister on how she can nourish herself during this trial. Okay, let's get a little clarity on just for her. I'll do that. I think that's appropriate. Brandy says a miscarried twins and a single baby. So, oh, I'm so sorry for your losses, honey. So any messages from them? I'll see if anything comes up. Although I don't get messages from babies necessarily. But I can get their plans sometimes, like if they're getting ready to come back. Interesting. Okay. And then I'm going to pull one from here too. Okay, sweetheart. Okay, so now when we're talking about general or my deceased father, whoever's available. Gotcha. Yeah, and I'm not doing mediumship. I don't do mediumship in these because mediumship's like an hour private session, right, where I have time to get my energy to that level, but little snippets will come through. So if that comes through, I'll address it. But I've got your cards pulled here, sweetheart. And so we're talking about general. What we're saying is we're just opening up a blank slate and saying, hey, spirit, angel guide, celestial team, past and future self, ancestors, what do you have for me in this short amount of time? Like, what, if you have, a few minutes, what do you want to talk about? And so this is what is wanting to be addressed for you. So here for historical patterns, you've got the King of Cups. It's interesting because the King of Cups is, you just brought father, but King of Father is usually represented by the Emperor card in the tarot deck. But here we're talking about a male who is very attached to his heart center. So I'm not sure if dad had issues with his heart at all. But dad was definitely connected to emotions. So this is someone who said, I love you, and wasn't withholding of affection or affectionate words. And this is sitting in the past. Know that dad definitely has a different level of perspective now. I think that's really valuable for you to know that. So whatever his barriers and blocks were, those don't exist anymore, right? So because his perspective has changed. It's like if you're looking at something from only one angle and you just can't see it any other way because you can only see it from that angle. And then all of a sudden somebody grabs you by the back of your shirt, pulls you way back and goes, now look at it. That's kind of what death does, right? It literally grabs us by the back of our shirt, pulls us way out. And then we all of a sudden see it from a different perspective. And we're like, shit, well, that grudge doesn't matter anymore. Or that thing that I held on, so belief system I held on so tightly to, doesn't mean anything. It doesn't mean the same thing. I can see so many different angles. Even if people left Earthside, can't even see it, right? So know that that's definitely something that wants to be expressed to you. It's important for you to know that for a fact. Okay. As we move into the present, you've got the Four of Wands here. This is telling you you've got happy occasions in the present. So you might have some graduations or births or milestones happening within yourself and the people close to you. It's kind of celebratory. It's very satisfying. There's a lot of satisfying things going on right now. A lot of like full bellies and full hearts and stuff like that. Right. And so there's a lot of gathering revolving around food too. So I think, which is not uncommon, right? Like, it doesn't take a psychic to know that. But with you in particular, there has been a lot of moments really revolving around food and gathering, communing with people. As you move into the near future, you've got the 10 of Wands here, which is you're moving into a place where responsibility is really going to kick up for you. So you've been maybe in a little bit of a lull. You've been able to just kind of take it easy a little bit more than usual. And know that responsibility is coming back up. I'm not sure if you've been out of work or not, but if you haven't been working as much, or something with the work dynamic has been different. Know that your plate's going to be a lot fuller as you move into the near future. And it's really important for you because you've got the 10 of Wands, which is the 10 of Fire twice, because I've got it here in your last card in my spread. I know you can't. I wish you guys could just see my spreads as I pull them. And then I pulled it from another deck, and you've got the 10 of Spring. Sorry, we can't tell which way it's going. You've got the 10 of Spring, which is also the 10 of Fire. So you've got 10 of Fire twice. So it's important for you to really be prepared. Your energy is going to be really, really pulled on soon. I want you to ask for help when you need it and know who you can ask for help from. That's so important. It's one thing to say, hey, ask for help. It's another thing to say, well, how can you ask for help if you don't know who's available, who wants to help you, who has extra time right now, who's going through their own shit and just is not available for you right now? So it's a good time to get on the phone, right? Send a text, make a call and say, hey, I would be really grateful, like, if you're available to chat like next week, or are you, itinerize what your friends and family's strong points are, what they're good at, how they enjoy serving others. Some friends really like being a listening ear. Some are the kind of friends that are going to come clean your house, stay at home mom. Yeah. So I'm not sure if you're looking for work or going back to work, but your schedule is definitely going to change soon. So that kind of, and I know being a stay-at-home mom is a lot of work in itself, and just such a valuable position to hold in the family and in society. Like, our societal structure wouldn't exist if we didn't have any stay-at-home moms. So I don't mean to undervalue that what you're doing isn't working now, but I'm just talking about your physical schedule is going to change, right? You're not able to pivot. You won't be able to pivot the way you are now. Now you're more accessible, and you're not going to be as accessible in the near future. It's really important for you to know who your friends are, who your family is, what they're good at, what they have to offer. Some people are good listeners. Some people are the kind of people who are going to come clean your house for you because you just don't have any time, and they're going to come help you do your laundry, right? Or whatever it is you need. Know who they are, know what their strengths are, reach out and ask them. Other than that, I have to say that for your other oracle card, you've got Ask Your Soul. It's got a number 16, which adds up to the number 7. It's really important for you to understand that you have this really powerful inner compass, and you second guess yourself all the time. So even if you were to, like, if I were to hold up my hands like this, and I'm like, okay, I've got a ball in each hand, what color is in the right hand? You would think a color, but then you would change it before you answered. Every time, 150% of the time, that's what you would do, because you doubt your inner compass. Stop doing that. I want you to start practicing. Be brave. You might be embarrassed the first few times. You might be embarrassed the few hundred times because you might get it wrong. But that's just because that's old energy playing out of the self-doubt. Once you're brave enough to step into the fact that I'm going to say my first instinct, even if it's wrong and everybody hears that I'm wrong, once you get past that barrier, you're going to get it right 100% of the time. So you got to step into that bravery and that discomfort. It's really important for you, sweetheart. You're very powerful. You're super intuitive. You know the answer all the time, but you've got old energy programs going that are blocking your intuition a little bit. The last card that I have for you is the Ace of Swords, which is you've got new perspective coming soon. You're going to be changing your thinking about things. You've been holding on pretty tight to some perspectives about things. You're kind of like a dog with a bone. You're really locked into, nope, that's how it is. Nope, that's what I believe, and that is right. You're going to have a shift, which is going to be a little uncomfortable for you. This is a good time for you to ask your soul about that. It's a good time for you to tap into your intuition, okay? Because there's going to be different parts of yourself that are going to want to block you and go, no, don't change your view on that. You're right. And you're right because this, and this, and this. Listen to your gut, because your perspective is changing for a reason. It serves you to pivot, which is going to be a little uncomfortable. And then as far as sister goes, I have to say that she's definitely going through her butterfly moment. She is detaching from old selves, old paradigms, and being reborn, right? And so how she chooses to engage with that is really going to be significant to her past. I would really prompt her to see where her anger is, right? Where is she holding anger in her body, in her heart, in her mind, and how can she release that? And it's going to take some radical acceptance for her, though, because there's things that her anger is righteous. And so it's like, well, why would I release that, right? And she may not feel like it's anger. She maybe feel like it's just the injustice she's holding. Well, I'm not angry, but that did happen, but she's holding on to the story. See if you can get her to let go of the story, the meaning, the attachment to it, okay? That's going to be really important for her. I hope that served you, sweetheart. I don't see anything about baby. I don't have a dreamer card here or any energy that's coming through, but that's just not what wants to be addressed right now with me, with you, with how we're collaborating. It doesn't mean that it's not there, present, and valuable. Lots of energy, guys. I hope you guys are doing good, feeling okay. Drink tons of water. You guys got to be hydrating. Water is so powerful. It's the universal solvent. It breaks stuff up. It flushes stuff out. If you're trying to move energy and get rid of old behaviors, thought patterns, trauma, water is your best friend. Brandy says, okay, thank you. You're welcome, sweetheart. And good water, quality water. Quit drinking out of plastic water bottles, guys. Get a reusable water bottle. Get a Brita filter. Better yet, do your research and find out how you can get good quality water into your life. But either way, keep whatever you do have, and even if it is a plastic bottle, no shame. I want you to keep your guys' self hydrated, get lots of rest, and take care of yourself because you guys really deserve it. But thank you for coming tonight to Divine Time with Nikki Taylor. I'm really honored to read for you guys, and I will be here next week, Tuesday, 8:30 Pacific Standard Time, and then I believe it's 11:30 Eastern Time. So thanks for coming, guys, and have a really good night. See you next week.
Now what's the style?